Hey guys, what's up? Chris Lee back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to get some cheap in-house lighting with whatever lights you may have around the house, or just basically buying some products and things from Home Depot to help you get some good lighting. Now, people think that you have to spend a lot of money, which you don't, so I'm going to show you guys how we did like an in-house gaming lighting video vlog type setup, just basically using some cheap products from Home Depot or some other products that we had laying around the house. So first things first, right now, this is the lighting that I have set up, but I'm going to be changing some of the settings and some of the lighting so you guys can see what it's like. This is just a normal basic setup. Normally the light in front of me, which is more my key light, I will have it a lot higher so I don't get the glare of the lights in my glasses, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just want to kind of give you guys the basic fundamentals that'll kind of help you guys get some good lighting in your in-home setup. Alright, so first things first, right now on this screen here I have the OBS setup, which is working with the Canon software. So if you see me looking over here, it's only because I'm using this screen to kind of visualize or see myself in what I'm actually recording. So if you see me look over here, don't get distracted. Also, second thing is I have my 8-month-old baby in the background and he's just playing around. So if you hear any type of noises or weird noises, he's just back there having fun. So my wife is going to be helping me set up the lights, and I'm going to show you guys how we go through the process and what each light looks like turned on and turned off. So first, let's go ahead, and this is what I look like now. And right now I'm shooting at 1/30th for the shutter, 4 f-stop, and 500 ISO. I like it, but again, we're going to change some of the settings. So what I'm about to do right now is just show you what each light looks like around me before, and we're going to cut each light on one at a time and then one light off at the same time. Also, I'm going to post in the description what I'm basically using. Right now I'm using 2 reflectors. I have a key light that I made out of a can light or a clamp light from Home Depot. I'm using another lamp that I just had laying around the house, basically in one of the rooms or whatever. I'm using it as a fill. I have another LED light that I'm bouncing off the reflector, and then I'm using a living room lamp as one of my hair lights, rim lights, or whatever you want to call it, to basically create some separation. So now I'm going to go through the process of showing you each light one light at a time, and we can start that now. So if you can, go ahead and cut the back light off, and I'll cut these lights off. Alright, it's going to get really dark. Right now, before we even do that, I'll speak first. So right now, what you're seeing on me is just the key light. It's a can light that I went and bought from Home Depot. The clamp light was about $11 or something like that. And then I bought an LED. So let me show you that real quick. The LEDs that I'm using are Cree lights. And these lights are, it says on the box, rich colors, and they're 90 plus CRI, which is really good, true to the color tone. It's the truest light color that you'll get from a light. So anything 90 plus and higher is recommended. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that. There we go. These lights were pretty inexpensive. I think we paid like $7 for 2 of them in a box. Pretty inexpensive. So just to show you what that is, you guys can go pick that up. Any LED lights pretty much will work. I like the BR30 floodlights. If you want to use those, that's typically what I like to use. It just depends on how much light I actually need. This light was about 500 Kelvin daylight. I wanted to have the most natural thing to kind of resemble or look like the light coming from a window or something like that. So this is pretty much the color or the tone that I wanted to go for. Warmer lights are cool, but I kind of feel like, for me, I'm already African American. The pigment on my skin, saturated skin, the colors in my skin are already, I guess you can say, like orange and reddish, brownish type colors or whatever. So when I have lights that are too warm, it tends to make me look a little red, and I don't like that. That's why I like using the daylights. But I will use one warm light to kind of bring out the saturation of the colors in my skin. All right, so I'm going to cut this light off right now and show you exactly what it looks like with no lights, period. Okay, so right now you're not seeing any lights. This is completely dark. This is what it looks like. Only light that you're seeing from me is a light from my screen. Okay, now before I plug that light back in, I'm going to show you the light that I'm using off of the reflector. All right, so it might be a little hard for me to focus here. There we go. Now notice what this light is doing. This light is bouncing off the reflector, and in the process of bouncing off the reflector, you notice that it's lighting one side of my body up. This is perfect for me because I didn't want the light to be too harsh. So instead of bouncing this LED light directly toward my body, it was casting a bunch of unnecessary shadows to the wall that I didn't like. And it honestly made my skin look a little blown or washed out. All right, so I used a reflector that I got from Home Depot to bounce that light, the LED light, off of the reflector onto this side of my body, creating a nice rim light and a little light toward the side of my face. This by itself, it can be very interesting depending on what you're shooting it for. It's not ideal, but again, lighting is all about going for that cinematic look and trying to be creative with whatever you're using your lighting for. If I wanted to shoot something simply like this, it will work. Just like if I was to use the fill light by itself, it would definitely work for a video. Now I'm going to cut this light off and I'm going to go to my fill light. The fill light is a warmer light. This is a light that I just kind of had sitting around. All right, so right now, this is what you're looking at. All right, it's focused. Look at that fill. It's different. It's nice. It's warm. So I kind of treat this fill as if I'm on set or if you're in your bedroom and you're just reading like a book or something like that with a nice little lamp on or whatever. This is that type of feel that you'll get. So just imagine a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. He's sitting there, you know, he's minding his business. He's looking at TV. You got the glare from the TV in the glasses with the nice warm light. This is an actual feel that people would use in either horror movies or suspense or just really nighttime, dark cinematic, contrasty type films. This is more of a low light feel, and I'm okay with that. But for YouTube videos, this is basically not ideal or something that I would want to use. So that's when I start adding in more lights. So now I'm going to add, now I'm going to go back in reverse order. With this particular light, like I said, it's warmer. So it's adding to the saturation and bringing out the nice skin tones and with the pigment of my skin. I typically like this just because it brings a sort of balance between daylight and my natural skin tone. If I used all daylights, then my skin wouldn't be natural, it wouldn't look the same. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut this light off and show you guys what the backlight looks like by itself. This backlight is typically more so for my hair light, and it might create just a small rim on the back side of me just to create the separation from the background. So I'm gonna cut this light off now, which is the fill light. This other backlight that's creating some bounce off of me is also off, as well as my key light. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. All right, look at that. Notice with the hair light, I'm getting some light on my hair. That's usually typically what you would call it. Normally, some people like to have the hair light up in the air and kind of facing down on the hair where it comes on the top of the hair and just a little bit of the shoulder. This honestly works for me in this setup just because it fills me in just enough to be able to create separation. So with this one light alone, this too is not ideal for YouTube, but if you notice it, I still have enough light going on the rim of my shoulder as well as my hair and just a little bit on the side of my face. Now, this could be a bit darker. You would kind of use this in a situation where if somebody kind of wanted to be discreet about some information that they were given, but definitely not show more of the face or any other reflection from the TV, so it would be completely off at that point. But just this light alone would definitely be interesting depending on the story or documentary or film, whatever you're shooting. So now what I'm going to do is go in a reverse order. That's the backlight. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this light next to me, which is almost like another backslash fill light that's bouncing off the reflector. And if you notice that, just check this out. Look on one side of me. One side you have more of the daylight. Look, it's spilling in my face on this side, and it's also giving me a rim of fill light from the daylight bouncing off the reflector, filling in most of my shoulder, filling in most of my face. Now, this is not ideal, but it's definitely a creative way to use some type of lighting. Just depends on what you will be using it for. So now the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and use the fill light this time. All right. Now with the fill, look at that. Notice the separation in the background. The background light is lit as well as the hair light in the rim that is giving me on my shoulder. Okay. Now with the bounce, the LED light bouncing off the card or the reflector, it's filling in more of me. And nobody can tell that that's a light. You know, I could be sitting next to a window for all you know. And that's pretty much how you know when you got the right lights, or you're just getting your position properly when you're setting yourself up for your lighting. All right, so you notice the fill that I have from that light and the fill that is giving me on my face. This works, but probably not for YouTube. Again, this could be for something else, but not for YouTube. But it definitely works. It's a lighting setup that you can go for if you wanted to use some low lighting for your setups. Now what I'm going to do is get myself prepared more for the YouTube setup by adding the fill light. That's my biggest light. That's my main light. It's my biggest source. My key light is my biggest source that's going to fill me and give me the most light, and it's going to create most balance. All right, so that's what I have. Now, look how that looks. All right. So if I was to say, hey, guys, Chris Lee, you're now watching another video on such and such, this works. I have another reflector on this opposite side. All it's doing in this particular situation is just taking a light that's bouncing off of the walls, that's bouncing from this direction, and helping fill in more from this direction. It's not necessary. It's not needed. It doesn't have to be in there. But if it's something that you want to use, hey, why not? If you see the majority of the models that like to do makeup tutorials, or just, you know, anybody who do makeup tutorials, the women in their videos, they'll use two of these reflectors and they'll set them close. They'll have a light coming from overhead, and then they'll have two lights basically beaming in on them with the ring light around the camera to give them that really washed out bright lighting. That works for their YouTube tutorials because you think glamour, you think makeup, bright beauty types of things. But this is a particular field that I wanted to go for this video, and that's why I wanted to show you guys this lighting. Now I'm going to change the settings to 1/60th for the shutter, and then I'm going to try to keep the ISO a little bit higher. Normally you don't want to go over 800 for the ISO because you'll see a lot of camera noise in the footage, and that's not what I want to go for here. Again, I'm not using a prime lens. If you want to know what lens I'm using in camera, I'm using a Canon 80D, and then I'm using a 24 to 105 millimeter lens. For the aperture, it doesn't go lower than 4.0, so it's usually or typically going to take a lot more lighting to make it look the way that it's looking right now. So I'm going to change this to 1/60th in camera. There you go. That's 1/60th at 500 ISO and 4.0. This is dark. You can make this work, but you would have to go into post editing and kind of raise the exposure, fix the contrast and things like that to kind of bring out the normal look in it. It won't be as natural, but it's just something that you can work with. This is typically too dark for me, so I won't shoot with it. Now I'm going to change the ISO to about 800. About 800. 800, this works. This works for me. It's not bad. It's something that I would be shooting with if I had no choice. But I don't want to have a lot of camera noise in my footage. I probably won't go over this, but there are situations where I've had to say, hey, I got to get the shot. You got to do what you got to do. And I've really had to push the ISO. So now I'm gonna change the ISO to something that's still usable. At this point, I probably won't go over 1,000, but I'm just gonna show you two settings that it would look like if you did. So this is at 1,000. Now that's pretty much normal. That's kind of what I was shooting at when I was shooting at 1/30th, 4.0 with 500 ISO. This is okay. This works. For some people it works, some people they don't complain, but it just depends on the clients, the media that you're going to be uploading it to. It doesn't matter. The platform, you want to make sure that your footage is clean and sharp as possible. Now if we go to 1250, I probably won't go past this. This works for me. This is something that I'll get away with if I had no choice. If I had to get a shot, things were changing, I needed to get the shot and brighten it up a little bit, this is what I would do versus adding more lights or pushing the lights a lot closer to the subject. If you're already in a tight space, it probably won't happen or work out for you that way. So this is something that I would normally be forced to use if I had nothing else. That will kind of keep my settings the same, keep my space the same, not having to move me, not having to change out lenses or add more lights. This is something that I can get away with. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure that you hit the like button, the subscribe button. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you liked the video. Let me know if you didn't like the video. Let me know what type of lighting setup you guys got. Post pictures in the description as well if you can, or show me anything that you guys got. Post videos. I want to see what you guys are doing in your in-home studio to record your YouTube videos. This is lighting. It's very cheap. It's inexpensive. You don't have to worry about going out and spending a couple $100s for a lighting kit. Use what you have at home. Now, I do have professional gear that I use for professional shoots that I do for clients, but as far as stuff at home and, you know, just setting things up, it's not necessary. So I just wanted to show you guys that you can get a nice YouTube setup with using some basic lighting. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Hit the notification button if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Peace.